What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check updates, the two new upcoming packages that are being worked on right now, that we actually have a preliminary deal on. Part one, the physical infrastructure package, and part two, the next stimulus package, which is actually $3.5 trillion for the next stimulus package and $1.2 trillion for the next physical infrastructure package. We have preliminary deals on both of those, and hopefully we will be having voting on both of those here soon. We will be having new information on both of those, in fact, from Senator Bernie Sanders in this video, as well as some shocking information on what is going on in our country here from the Texas governor as well as the Ohio governor in this episode as well. So if you're new to the channel or if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe down below. And remember that new videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, if you can, hit the like button for us. I will keep you up to date with everything stimulus related as well as what is going on with our country that you need to know about. Okay, let's jump right in. Okay, first up, the Ohio governor, which is where I am from, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine is making major headlines today. Yeah, because of, well, an executive order that he has passed. Check this out. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine has banned schools from requiring students to be vaccinated. He has banned schools from requiring vaccinations. This is huge because we're basically seeing a battle going forward from whether schools are this is for the whole state. This is for colleges and public schools. Check this out here. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine has signed legislation prohibiting public schools, colleges, and universities from requiring students to be immunized with vaccines that have yet to receive a full approval from the FDA. Now, note it does say that have yet to receive the full approval, so I guess he could change his mind in the future. The legislation applies to the 3 COVID-19 vaccines currently on the market that have only been granted emergency use. The measure doesn't go in effect till 90 days, which is basically, will go into the fall season of school. He says, we are confident that the 3 main COVID vaccines, Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson, will receive a full FDA approval. Mike DeWine's spokesperson says, noting that the approval will reduce vaccine hesitancy. The provision also says that schools cannot discriminate against students or staff that have not received a vaccine. Under the measure, schools and colleges are not allowed to require unvaccinated people to adhere to protocols such as mask wearing or social distancing. Other top politicians and officials are saying they're disappointed, saying public schools and universities in Ohio should be able to create policies to keep their students and employees safe. Under the measure, schools and colleges are not even allowed to require unvaccinated people to adhere to protocols such as mask wearing or even social distancing. Now, this is a big change because remember, across the United States, there are common vaccines required all across the United States in all 50 states, and they require vaccines such as polio, hepatitis, the MMR vaccines. All sorts of different vaccines are required in all 50 states right now to go to school for school children. And as of right now, a quick Google search shows that there are at least 582 colleges in the United States that are requiring COVID-19 vaccines to go to college. So this move by the Ohio governor makes a stark change. We're also seeing battles like this really in the state of Florida and some in Texas and really a lot of different states where, like, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has signed basically a ban on vaccine passports, or basically a ban on having to show a vaccine identification for almost any reason at all. And really, this is kind of one of the battles going on in our country on whether or not you should have to show whether or not you're vaccinated to go to school, to go to college, to get on a cruise line, to go to a concert, or really for any type of reason like this. Let me know your thoughts on this. Should a school child or a college student, should they need to be vaccinated to go to college or to go to school? And we're seeing some states ban this where no, they should not need to be vaccinated. Ohio literally just took this effort, at least temporarily right now. This could be changed in the future. We're seeing some states or some colleges and some schools require this. Some states are banning this. Yeah, it's really a battle because this honestly could go either way, and we're seeing really some states and some colleges and some schools go completely opposite directions. Now we're seeing another battle go on right now in the state of Texas between Republicans and Democrats over a voting rights issue, which could lead to some Democrats in the state of Texas being arrested. Check this out. Here is the Texas Governor, Greg Abbott.
Does get passed will be overturned by a court of law because what we are doing is perfectly constitutional.
Talk about the coverage of people saying that you might have these Democrats arrested when they land back in Texas. Arrested for what? Under what statute?
So what the law is, by Constitution, the House sets the rules about what happens when a quorum is broken, and what happens is this, and that is once a call on the House has been made, which it has been, then the Sergeant at Arms for the Texas House of Representatives can work with the Texas Department of Public Safety to go arrest, apprehend, whatever word you want to choose, and bring to the Capitol the missing House members who are responsible for breaking a quorum. The only limitation to that, Sean, is that the jurisdictional limits to that are in the state of Texas, which is why the Texas law enforcement is not up there in Washington, D.C. or some other location trying to pursue these House members. So here's the deal. As long as those Texas House members remain in Washington, D.C., we're not going to have a quorum. But know this, a special session in Texas lasts 30 days. Once this 30-day special session expires, if the members return, I'll call another one, and we will be back in session unless they leave again, in which case I will continue calling special session after special session after special session. So they will have to be gone from the state of Texas all the way up until the next election. Here's the bottom line, Sean, of what this will lead to, because this is...
Maybe they could pay the higher taxes to D.C. Go ahead, sir.
This is the point the Democrats have not thought of. What is their end game? They haven't thought about that, and I can tell you what the end game is. We are going to have a special session where these and other issues are going to be voted on, including doing a better job of securing our border, including cutting our property taxes in Texas, including helping our teachers, our retired teachers that they were voted relief today by the Texas Senate, but they're not going to get it because the Texas House members are not there. We voted out of the Texas Senate today property tax relief that the people of Texas will not get because the Democrats were not in the Texas House of Representatives. So they have a job to do, and let me tell you something. Texas voters are going to be extremely angry at the Texas House members for not showing up and not doing the job. If you didn't show up and do your job, if other people who are watching your show right now did not show up and do their job, they would be losing their job or losing their pay.
Yeah, like I said, the fights between Republicans and Democrats will never end. So yeah, the Texas Republican governor says he's going to have the Texas House Representatives, Texas House Democrats arrested when they come back from Washington, D.C. and enter back into the state of Texas. He's going to have them arrested. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. Okay, next we will go to Democratic Representative Bernie Sanders on the next stimulus package, which has been announced to be $3.5 trillion. We will get a little bit more details on what is going to be in this next stimulus package. Check this out.
$80 billion bipartisan infrastructure bill for roads, highways, bridges, and major public works projects. Senate Democratic leaders hope to advance both the bills on a dual-track system before Congress leaves for August recess. Joining me now is one of the architects of the $3.5 trillion spending plan, the chair of the Senate Budget Committee, Senator Bernie Sanders, independent of Vermont. First, Senator Sanders, I guess let's start off with what is in this bill. It's been a little hard to keep track of everything, both in the negotiations. There's been a bunch of proposals in the White House. There was a bunch of proposals from the Budget Committee. So just sort of top line, what are we talking about here?
Okay, what we're talking about is the understanding that for decades, working families have been struggling. The very rich have been getting richer, and you got billionaires and large corporations that pay in a given year nothing in taxes. Point number one, this bill will substantially raise taxes on the richest people in this country and the largest corporations. That's number one. Number two, for decades, we have ignored the needs of working families. Everybody knows this legislation ends the international disgrace, Chris. We're the only country on earth that doesn't provide paid family and medical leave. We're going to end that. We are going to deal in the most aggressive way imaginable with the housing crisis, where you got 18 million families paying 50% of their limited incomes on housing. We're dealing in the other bipartisan bill with the physical infrastructure. And of course, we are making the largest investment in this country's history in transforming our energy system away from fossil fuel to combat the existential threat of climate change, among many other provisions. In other words, what the president has done and what we have done is said, you know what, let's look at the crises facing working families and the planet. Let's address those crises. You know what? In my view, this is probably the most consequential piece of legislation since the 1930s.
Yeah, I mean, so I want to play what Joe Manchin said. This can be passed without Republicans' reconciliation. It has to pencil out, right? It can't be deficit spending. My understanding about the rules here. So I want to play what Manchin said, which was, it sounds like people are open. Everything I've heard from Democrats today is basically more or less on the same page. This is what he had to say. Take a listen.
I've been very clear that I want to see the pay-fors and make sure that whatever we do is going to be globally competitive.
Is 3.5 trillion too high? Is 3.5 trillion too high?
Depends if we can pay for it. And still be globally competitive.
So the point is this is already penciled out. Like, everyone who worked on this has done the math, right? Am I correct in that?
Yes. Yeah.
So there will be, I'm sure, fights and wrangling about specifics in this. But the last thing I want to say to you is this. There is something fascinating here happening when you talked about the New Deal, where I feel like I'm watching a kind of a new model of legislating, which is basically this. It's like, here's what the Democrats ran on. Here's the Democratic agenda. It's almost like parliamentary, where Biden and the rest of the party got behind these big infrastructure investments and climate and the care economy. And what you're coming forward today is basically like saying, here it is all together. One thing, we're not going to pass it piecemeal. We're not going to, do it out of these committees. This is the agenda right here. Is that a fair way to sort of characterize what we're seeing?
We cannot pass it piecemeal, because to do it through regular order, you need 60 votes. We're not going to get one Republican vote. And the other point that I would make, Chris, and I believe this passionately, is that at a time when so many Americans believe that government has forgotten them, turned their backs on their needs, what I hope this legislation will do is restore the faith of the American people that the government can represent ordinary Americans, not just the wealthy and the powerful and their lobbyists. So this, in many respects, is a transformative piece of legislation.
So there you have it, Senator Bernie Sanders. We're starting to get pieces and parts of what is initially in this package. And as I've been kind of telling you guys here, what is in this package and the top line number of $3.5 trillion can dramatically change over the next few days and when they go into voting. And we've seen that from the second stimulus check package. When they added in a stimulus check, that bill originally didn't have a stimulus check in there, and they added it in 6 days. They actually took away $160 billion away from states and cities. Because of the outcry from you guys and senators and Congressman Josh Hawley and Bernie Sanders last time around. So we're getting kind of some ideas of what's in this package, at least to start. Remember, this can change. I will keep you up to date on everything going on with the stimulus provisions, as well as what is going on in our country. Remember that new videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll keep you up to date on everything. You can click this video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. This video is about new checks that are going out right now through different stimulus check programs. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA through the Amazon FBA programs where you sell physical products. And I've already had dozens of students replace their 9-to-5 income. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.